Hello, my name's Derek Croston, and this is Executrix's Folly development blog number 2. I think this time I'm going to focus on the bosses and some of the music I have done. First boss I'm going to talk about is the One-Ton Killington, who is a giant skull carved out of obsidian, much like the turtles that you can find in the dungeon. That I think I showed you that last time. The OTK was originally supposed to have a part of his attack pattern where he's stationary, shoots out little pink rings, which is why his eyes look like they glow. Well, at least in this, when it's dormant, it's a lot darker, kind of matching the pointy portions of the teeth. But I scrapped that because honestly, there's just too many boss portions where they're just going to be stationary for a little bit. So I'm going to try to fix that. One thing people have a lot of problems with The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is that you wait to attack the enemy, and otherwise you're just avoiding it. Well, I don't want to use one of their main problems in a game that's going to satirize it. So I got rid of that. And, well, he kind of has a problem from a different game, but most people don't realize that one. So, well, if you ever play it, you can probably guess, but I'm not going to be the one to tell you. I like the One-Ton Killington because he kind of reminds me of a like a chocolate sugar skull that you can find in Latin America, or like was it Dia de los Muertos. But I also like it because, well, if I'm going to be calling him a Killington, where's the rest of it? Is the rest of it in the other dungeons in the country? Who knows? I mean, the arms could probably be a boss in a different dungeon, but I mean, like the legs and stuff would be too tall unless you only saw the feet of it and it was just stomping at you the whole time. But I mean, if I ever make a sequel, we'll see. Okay, now let's move on to Carne Fresca. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Well, he's kind of a cannibal. If you walk through the dungeon, which I don't know if I had that finished on the last blog, but I mean, he's got messages written in blood in it, and it kind of implies that he eats people, which he does. But also that at one point you find out that the Killingtons are the all the other people that have been sent to the dungeon, and Carney's turned him into like his army. But he's not actually supposed to be a necromancer, although he might pretend to be. He's actually a blood mage, which will really become obvious in his fight. I mean, he just kind of puppeteers the Killingtons through bone marrow, since that's where blood comes from. I mean, it's just a little thing, but I mean, hopefully someone will notice without me having to tell them. That's gonna be a fun one. I think I'm gonna have him just kind of melt away into the blood after you hit him the first time, and then you're gonna have to just kind of find his body. All right, now let's move on to Mord before I say too much. Now, I posted on Instagram photos like of like Mord and the thorn lizard. Well, you'll also find thorns throughout the dungeon, and it's supposed to show that these people have been in there long enough to affect it. It's hard to tell how many of the things in there that try to kill you are from the executioners or if it's just from the people that have survived the dungeon for so long. Well, Mord has definitely affected the dungeon a bit. I mean, he scratches messages to Carne along the walls, which I'm pretty sure that's been shown before. But yeah, Mord sort of summons a dragon. I mean, the dragon doesn't really move, so it's more like he summons portions of a statue and moves it. I'm not completely done with that one, so that might change, but pretty sure it's gonna be that simple. Like he's trying to summon something that won't fit where he is. And that's it for the human bosses. Next is the Papa and Mama Chup. They're just like Well, they're the parents of all the chupacabras inside the dungeon, and you fight them in different spots. Also, they're called Papa and Mama Chup for a reason, mostly because if you pay attention to the area where you can read the player character guard's mind, you'll slowly pick up that Chup is an expletive in the world. So, Mama Chup, it's not that hard to figure it out. Papa and Mama Chup pretty much just act like the other chupacabras in the dungeon. They're just massive. So there's not a whole lot to talk about with them. So that's all I'm going to really talk about. Except I'm going to leave you with the boss battle music, which you may have seen on other social media. Just going to play that for you now. Later.